Hi there again. We're going to be having a look at the All Island Strategic Rail Review once more. And today we're going to be having a look at the decarbonisation recommendations from Chapter 4. So, decarbonisation. Both jurisdictions on the island of Ireland are committed to achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Rail has the potential to play a major role in decarbonising the island's transport network in two ways. One, by encouraging people to switch from carbon emitting modes to rail, and by reducing the emissions from the wider rail system. However, in contrast to many EU countries, the island's rail network is currently highly reliant on diesel traction. Well, yeah, I think, what's it like? More than 95% of the rail network is diesel. I would say that is certainly highly reliant. So this is a challenge then for both passenger and freight transport. Decarbonising the railways will require action on construction, operations, maintenance, and renewals. Renewals. Is that meant to be renewables? Or is that renewals? I'm not sure. The construction industry is leading on decarbonising construction. So they're basically just saying, not our business. Oh, but I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, the construction industry is leading on decarbonising construction, maintenance, and renewals. Okay. So they're basically saying that's we're not going to touch that. This review is generally focused on decarbonising operations. Okay. Although it has also considered and estimated the impact of embodied carbon arising from developing new railways. Yeah, that is one thing that needs to be considered. Building is, like running trains, burning diesel, obviously emits carbon, but also constructing new railways. Construction in general is a carbon intensive industry. And I guess I suppose it's not quite in the scope of this review to be talking about ways to decarbonize the construction industry, since this is about rail. But it would have been nice if they made some kind of, if not recommendations, then direct you to some other report or resource that is related to it. The scope of this review does not include developing a detailed decarbonisation strategy for the island's railways. That said, the review has developed a plausible approach for decarbonising the island's railways by drawing on insights from Great Britain's Traction Decarbonisation Network Strategy and Denmark's Tolfunden program. Okay. Yeah. I'm interested to see how they'll, or what insights they'll draw from those. So, strategic options. There is a wide range of emerging technologies under development that could, in the long term, play a significant role in delivering carbon neutral rail transport. However, if both jurisdictions are to achieve their commitments to fully decarbonise their economies by 2050, then it is imperative that action is taken now. Yeah. Yeah. You can't be saying, oh, we'll do it in 10 years' time. You have to, like, we need it 10 years ago, but you can't, unfortunately, you can't change the past. So the best you can do is make those changes in the present and not kick it down the line like they've been doing for decades. The proposed approach to decarbonising Ireland's railway is therefore based on proven available solutions. Yeah, that is another important thing. You don't want to be, sitting around twiddling your thumbs going, oh, well, we'll fix it in 10 years' time when this, new technology is made feasible and viable. Like, okay, that might be, a good option in the future, but there's things you can do now that will help now. And in the event that future potential technology doesn't work out, then you've already made the changes and you can move forward with pride in your chest, you know, that you took action when action was necessary and that it paid off. And that you didn't, you know, you weren't living in some fantasy world. At the time of writing, the strategic options available for decarbonising the island's railways that appear to be most viable are electrified railways. This is by far the most important option. I haven't seen the other ones yet, and I'm telling you already, this is by far the most important option. Overhead line electrification is the way to go. It's, you know, hydrogen trains are cool, and I'm sure there's some scenarios where they are the viable option, but like it's just not an efficient use of energy. Batteries are fine for as a short-term solution, but you don't like batteries take a lot of materials and they're really hard to dispose of. You don't you don't want to be well, you have to replace them every like 10 years or whatever it is. So that's just another cost further down the line. Disposing them, yeah, it's hard. You're better off just not using them at all if you can avoid them. I understand their use of like grid and stuff, but like if you're putting in overhead electrified lines, you don't need batteries. Just fucking shoot up the little antenna. I don't know what the name of it is. Connect to the line, you're good to go. So electrified railways. Electric traction is proven, widely used and supported by relatively strong supply chains. Yeah. Oh my god, it's used all over Europe, China, Japan. I'm sure there's other. Don't know if they use it much in America because a lot of their rail is just freight. Um, but like Europe and China are some of the largest uh, rail networks, I guess would be the best word. And they've got shit tons of electrified railways. And it's banger. It's great. It can support passenger trains and freight trains over long distances at high speed and without refueling. Yeah, you don't need to fucking have your train sit in a depot, charge up, or fuel up, or, you know, collect anything. You're good to go. You just turn it around and go. However, this option requires significant investment in infrastructure such as overhead line electrification. This is true, but especially if they're building new lines, why would you not just build them anyway? Like if you're there already. I said this in the last video, but like if you're there already, you're already building the tracks. Just slap up some fucking lines. It can't be that much harder, and it'll be more disruptive if you come back later and add them. Just do it while you're there. Ireland is currently investing heavily in expanding overhead line electrification for the DART service in the Dublin area, which will increase the length of electrified railway from 50 kilometres to 150 kilometres, around 5% of the island's railway route length. Yeah, I mean that's an improvement for Dublin, but you need it for those intercity services at the very least as well. Ideally everywhere, but sure, look, I won't be too greedy, not yet. Battery electric trains, yeah, I think these are a decent short, medium term solution, like with that Dart Plus Coastal North going from Malahide to Drogheda. That will, in the short term, be battery electric, and then when they eventually have the lines in, they'll rip out the batteries and just have it run full electric. Battery electric trains have been proven at a relatively small scale. Yeah, they are suited to operating short distances, but cannot currently support higher speeds, as in 200 kilometers an hour, passenger trains or freight trains over long distances. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know where they plan to use battery electric outside of Like that dart line, it may be some like really short branch lines like Limerick to Shannon or Derry to Letterkenny, or on the maybe on the Cork commuter service. They say they were going to electrify the whole thing. Oh, they did. Yeah, that'd be good. But of these lines here, the only ones that would make maybe a little bit of sense to just have a better electric train would be Letterkenny and Limerick to Shannon. Otherwise, everything else, it's so far that it you really should just put in the electrified lines. I don't know why you wouldn't. Then hydrogen powered trains. This technology is earlier in its development cycle, but the signs are promising. Hydrogen trains have been shown to work in a live operating environment. Although the economics of adopting this technology at scale are less clear, this technology could support passenger services over relatively long distances in areas with relatively easy access to hydrogen production and storage. Yeah, so hydrogen, I'm sure there's some use case for it, but um, I don't really know where it would make sense to use it. And it's just expensive. Like, what is hydrogen but a way of like storing electricity? Because you use electrolysis to create it, right? Break down a water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. And like, I'm all for supporting alternatives. I'm sure there's some use case for it. But like, it's just a less efficient store of electricity. Why not just use electricity? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I'm not qualified to speak about this at all, really, but I'm just a hobbyist. But I'm going to speak about it anyway. Based on the opportunities and limitations presented by the technological options outlined above, the review has attempted to define which sections of the railway network are best suited to electrification, battery electric, hydrogen, and multiple options. In general, it appears that overhead line electrification is needed to deliver long-distance, high-speed passenger services, whereas alternative traction options may be more viable for slower and/or shorter journeys. This suggests overhead line electrification should be considered the leading option for decarbonising corridors used by intercity services, while alternatives could be considered elsewhere. I think OHLE should be the leading option for every track. Figure 10 shows how this approach might look if it were rolled out across the whole island. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Future considerations. There are further issues to consider, which will ultimately shape Ireland's approach to decarbonising its railway. The island will need a green electricity grid to deliver a truly net zero carbon railway. Well, yeah. I mean, we're putting a fair bit of money into wind and solar, wind especially. But getting that base level of electricity is difficult with renewables. I would personally like to see the some more. Well, I say more, but I don't know if there's any. I'd like to see some investment into nuclear as an option, at least a consideration, because it's not the best option, but it's a lot less polluting in terms of carbon than burning fossil fuels. And sure, like if we're just going to be importing nuclear power from France anyway, why not make our own? But we're building that Celtic interconnector line right now between Cork and Brittany, and if we're buying electricity off France, vast majority of it is nuclear. It's like what 70 something percent of their electricity. Anyway, the rail industry could support this process by investing in renewable power sources on their estates, switching to green energy providers. investing in low carbon vehicles, road, plant, and rail, and reducing the consumption of resources through moving to a circular economy. Delivering electrification will take time and investment. A rolling program of electrification will require skills, capacity, robust supply chains, and certainty of long-term investment. So, experience from overseas suggests a stop-start approach to electrification yields significantly higher unit cost than a steady rolling program. I would like to know what they're referring to there and what a stop-start approach really means. Hybrid trains are likely to be needed while the network electrifies. Yeah, I mean that's in the short term. As long as it doesn't become a long-term solution, I'm okay with that. Hybrid trains can operate on electric and non-electric railways, whereas electric-only vehicles can only operate in end-to-end routes, or when end-to-end routes are electrified. Most hybrid trains produced today run under diesel and electric traction, but future trains may include hydrogen traction. Ultimately, the goal should be to eliminate diesel altogether. Yep, definitely. I don't know, hydrogen may not be the most viable solution in terms of energy efficiency, but it is at the very least clean. Hybrid trains are in high demand globally, so the market should be able to provide these for Ireland. Overhead line electrification, alternating current, AC voltage is desirable for high-speed operations. Yeah, at the moment, the DART, which is the only network electrified, is using DC, which I think DC is okay for short distances, but it's not ideal for long distances. Like in general, long distance electricity transmission is alternating current. The expanding DART network is powered by 1500 volt DC overhead LE, and while there are advantages in rolling out DART traction beyond Dublin, there are drawbacks to this approach. It is likely to cost more and may not deliver enough power to support 200 kilometers an hour services, so it is likely that DART will operate to a different traction system to electric intercity services. Yeah, I mean, it would be better if they just I don't know how easy it would be. I'm sure it won't be free, obviously, but it would be better if the DART network is switched over to AC. Recommendations. In summary, to achieve the decarbonisation goals and objectives of this review, governments in both jurisdictions should 1. Develop and implement an all-island rail decarbonisation strategy that, as a minimum, includes an electrified intercity network. Yeah, that would be the bare minimum. Bare fucking minimum. This should determine which decarbonisation solutions should be adopted for each part of the railway, recommend a common set of standards to be applied across the whole island, and provide a roadmap for decarbonising the railway by 2050. Yeah, the common set of standards. I'm sure the enterprise route could be used as like a basis for that because it's the only existing cross-border train line. I'm not really sure what could be considered common set of standards, but what springs to mind is for sure like the signaling technology. Because I think, as far as I know, currently the Republic of the North use different like signaling equipment, which I'm sure they can make do with the Enterprise, but if you're having multiple cross-border lines, it would be better to standardize it all. The map provided in Figure 10 provides a plausible outcome that might be delivered by this strategy, which assumes core intercity routes would be electrified with OHLE, while regional lines could be served by hybrid solutions such as battery and or hydrogen operated trains. I mean, if the hybrid trains that they're suggesting to use on regional lines are all hydrogen battery hybrid, I mean, that just feels a little bit silly. Um, would you not just like? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess hydrogen would be faster to fill it up, but like, would you not just go all electric at that point? And if you're gonna have fully battery powered trains, would you not just build it overhead line electrification and ditch the batteries? Just a suggestion. And then number two is to develop plans, invest in the skills, supply chains, and rolling stock to deliver decarbonisation. Yeah, well, yeah, you need people to be able to build it all and plan it all and certify it all and make sure it's all structurally sound and safe. Rolling stock as well, yeah. I mean, we don't build any trains here, and we probably never will. Not anytime soon. So you have to order them from abroad, but that's okay because there's plenty of really good manufacturers out there. In well, there's Alstom where we're already getting the Dare Plus trains from. There's plenty of manufacturers across mainland Europe that would be suitable. And number three then is procure hybrid and electric rolling stock in the medium term. Given the long lead times for the procurement and delivery of rolling stock and its relatively long operational life, it is recommended that planning for electric and hybrid traction across the island should start soon. Yes. Yeah, the sooner the better. Because, like, one thing about developing infrastructure and especially rail infrastructure is that it takes a long fucking time. It's not all that flashy, and even when it does get built, it's not super exciting. It's just, it's a train that looks a little bit different to the last train and it doesn't smell as bad, maybe a bit less noisy. Like train, or sorry, public transport isn't luxurious. Well, I guess it can be if you put like a first class carriage in. But for the mass, it's not luxurious, it's not flashy, and it's not particularly exciting. It's just a way to get from A to B to C. And that's fine, but I think some people are they want it now. They don't want it in 10 years' time. And if it's in 10 years' time, they don't want it at all. Like if they can't have it now, why should they care? Like I sympathize because I want it now as well. But I think you need to be a little bit patient, perhaps. We'll get it. We should get it, I should say. It's not guaranteed yet, but if they're in any way concerned about meeting our climate targets and about providing alternatives to the people and about, like decentralizing Dublin, then they'll make this a priority. Case study hydrogen trains. While electric and battery operated trains could play a major role in decarbonising Ireland's railways, there may also be a role for hydrogen in some parts of the island, particularly on longer distance routes that serve rural areas where the business case for investing in OHLE may be weak. I don't really think the case for investing in OHLE is ever particularly weak, but I would be curious about the range of these hydrogen trains. There are examples of hydrogen trains in passenger use across Europe, including in Germany and Italy. And an example of a hydrogen train in commercial operation, in this case, Alstom's Concordia Stream hydrogen model, is shown in the image to the right. And it's a nice train. It's pretty cute. but I'd be curious about the range of it. They don't mention anything here. Maybe I'll look into that. You know, I'll have a look into it now. Hold on a sec. Okay, I think there might be a spelling mistake. It says here in their review, Alstom's Concordia stream hydrogen, but this product sheet that I found says hydrogen Curadia stream. Let's have a little look at it here. It's yeah, I don't care about their selling points. Where's the technical data? So length 96.7 meters. Yeah, cool. That's fine. The weight max for axle, considering 200 kilograms per meter squared, 18 tons or less than 18 tons per axle. I mean, that's a lot already. Signaling. Yeah, I don't really know anything about signaling, I'll be honest. Bicycle ski rack, 4 to 8. Nice, I like that. Toilets, yeah. Gotta have toilets. Traction. Yeah, max speed, that's what I'm looking for. 140 kilometers an hour. That's alright. That's not too bad. That would be, well, in terms of speed alone, that would be fine for rural regional lines where they are only going to go up to about 120 kilometers an hour. Intercity lines, it wouldn't be suitable though, for sure. Let's see, autonomy, 600 kilometers. Is that saying that these are autonomous trains? They can run for 600 kilometers? That's a little bit vague. About 500 passengers, it's pretty good. Yeah, not really. I'd have to guess that this 600 kilometers refers to the range, which is decent. Oh, that would get you from Galway to Dublin and back in one tank. Yeah, I don't know how long it takes to charge, not charge, but fill them up. But maybe I'll look into this more. They look kind of cute though. I like the design. And this is the map for the decarbonization section. So anything hard dark line is currently electrified, so that's from Malahide into Dublin down to Greystones. This isn't showing what's single or a dual track. This is just electrified and other decarbonisation methods. Committed electrified railways, so this oh right, so this is, yeah, so dark dotted line is committed, and that is Malahide to Drogheda. That's the Dart plus Gulf North. And then Dart plus West and Dart plus Southwest out to like Hazel Hatch, Maynooth, M3 Parkway. Yeah, that's, I think they'll make a little bit of a line there through Phoenix Park as well. Well, there's already a Phoenix Park tunnel, they just don't really use it much. And that's cool. And then future electrification on existing lines up from Drogheda all the way to Belfast. That'd be really, really valuable. Because that's, I mean, it's a line that goes between the two largest cities in the fucking island. And then potential electrification on existing lines from like Hazel Hatch out to Waterford, down to Cork, to Galway. Oh, sorry, I didn't spot that there. Committed electrified railways already from Cork to their regional, on the regional commuter services out to Middleton and Cove. I would love that. Took the commuter service out to Cove once to check out Spike Island, just for the crack, because I was in Cork. Spike Island is a great little tourist destination. It's like the Alcatraz of Ireland, but much older. Dates back well, to what, like, I think there was a settlement of monks on there originally, and then before the Vikings, and then they kind of raided them, and then it was like a military base, British military base for a long time. During the Napoleonic Wars, or just after them, it was the largest prison in the world. Very cool. And then, yeah, so future electrified rails out to Cork, to Limerick, to Galway. Why not between Limerick and Galway? Why would they not do that? It's strange. And not between like Limerick Junction and Waterford either. Why? I wonder. So, future electrification on a future line. Oh yes, yeah, so this would be then if they were to build a line from like Portadown to Derry, they would it would be suggested to electrify the whole thing because it's an intercity route, and then they saw their little line from Hazelhatch to Port Arlington and Kildare. Not sure why they don't suggest anything else. Well, I guess there's what Clongriff and Drogheda and Tree Parkway to Navan. And then this little line from Belfast to Newry via Hillsborough and Banbridge. But really everything should be electrified. Come on. Have a little ambition. Other future decarbonisation on existing lines. Yeah, so anything that's kind of pale green solid line, that would all be like hybrid or battery. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not keen on that myself. Like, if you want to, yeah, I don't know. Even if you're running like, say, like a short line like between Derry and Letterkenny, if you're running that in battery, that's fine short term. Just get the line up and running. But like, if you're building a new line anyway, I said this before, I'll say it again. You're just going to be causing more disruptions later down the line when you electrify it. Just do it all in one go. And the same with like Limerick to Shannon. That's such a short line. You may as well just commit to it. Yeah. Then other future decarbonisation, future lines, these pale green dotted lines. Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously these lines are needed, but I don't know why you would not just electrify everything. Like, come on. Like Portadown to Mullingar is a decently long route. Like, I understand that could be served by a hydrogen train or a hybrid train, but you're just gonna end up using more energy in the long term generating that fucking hydrogen, which they're probably not even going to generate themselves. They're going to buy from some private company that's generating it and charging a premium. And then you have to store it as well. I guess it stores better than electricity, in fairness. Electricity is kind of hard to store. Because even if you put it in batteries are expensive. The charge dissipates over time. Batteries have a certain lifespan, you have to replace them, and then disposing of them is difficult, so that's more money as well. You don't want to be investing in batteries too much. It's fine short term, long term, better if you don't have any batteries. But like hydrogen is just a more electric, it's the like energy, if it's more demanding in energy as a means of propulsion. You want to just like electrify it, instead of, because otherwise you're just going to have to buy more electricity to achieve the same result. That's the, well, either buy or generate, and that's, yeah, that's the main point I want to make, is that, like, obviously you want to be decarbonizing the railway, but you want to do it in an energy efficient way, and hydrogen is not, at the moment, not particularly energy efficient. But anyway, that's it for this video, and the next one I will start on the recommendations for the intercity spine. I think this would be an interesting section as well. Is there any nice little maps in this one? Oh, it's a long chapter. Ooh, this looks cool. Let's have a look at that next time. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.